Roger Meadows. 7 trillion was originally the number before it got knocked down to 3.5 for the reconciliation bill. They already came down. BIF, Bill, and Recon should have started at 20 trillion each. AOC squad can threaten not to lift the debt ceiling unless Joe issues an executive order for Medicare for all via Section 1881A of the Social Security Act. Take cannabis off Schedule 1 list. Forgive all student debt. Recall all military-grade weapons from police departments. Roger Meadows, you have hit it so much on the nose. You take the squad, you take the progressives, you stand aside and you go, we ain't going to do shit until you forgive student loan debt. You cross your arms like this. We ain't voting on anything. We're going to hold press conferences for real until you take your fucking pen out and you forgive student loan debt. That alone, that's what, fam, is that not a compromise? Taking the smallest thing? I mean,
that would be pushing them. That would be forcing votes, but they can't really do that. So
they could. They won't. By executive order, they can cross their arms and say take cannabis off the fucking Schedule 1 list and release everybody who's sitting in fucking prison. A lot of people of color they claim to protect that are sitting in fucking prison for marijuana charges. Cross your arms and say we ain't doing dick until you fucking sign that and you take it off the Schedule 1 list and you release those people from prison who are sitting in fucking jail for years for fucking marijuana. Do it now or we ain't doing shit. The littlest things, they won't even give you the fucking crumbs, but they play the theatrics and act like, oh, you see the next move, fam. It's a two-party system. We have no choice but to align with Biden. And I think he's acting in good faith. I think he's a good partner. My fucking balls. You were put there to fucking disturb the establishment, not prop it up.
So, transitioning from Potts' balls into somebody who has been lacking them. And I say this as somebody that was a huge supporter. This is the last straw. I mean, this is just heartbreaking for so many people. Bernie Sanders. Huh?
In other words, you kicked him out. You tell him get out of here, but you change the locks now. His keys don't work.
The locks are changed twice. He's done. I mean, I am just.
You got a dog in the front yard barking. Yeah, he's gone.
This is something I've been critical of everybody because we don't have anybody in Congress right now who is actually pro-Palestine, who has actually been fair on the issue. But Bernie Sanders was the most left in terms of that, as speaking out against the attacks on Gaza, which is crazy because he still believes in a two-state solution and he still, wasn't all the way there. But now Bernie Sanders will be voting yes on the Iron Dome. And this is because Chuck the Schmuck promised him that he will donate, I think it was $1 million or $1 billion in aid, I'll reconfirm in a minute, to to Gaza, to Palestinians. So Bernie Sanders is saying yes on the Iron Dome, which will fund billions of dollars to $1 billion to Israel to continue protecting themselves and launching all these missiles that kill Palestinians, but then we'll bring aid and Band-Aids and gauze to Palestinians after they get bombed, I guess, right? Because that's essentially what's happening. So this is from Alex Kane. Bernie Sanders' office says he secured a commitment from Senator Chuck Schumer that the U.S. will send additional humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. As a result, Sanders will vote yes on the extra $1 billion in Iron Dome funds for Israel's military. So
what a cock. What a cock. What aid?
Yeah.
How's it going to get there? What form? What's it going to be? It's going to be in a bill? You should just say shit and these fucking shit libs buy it. Oh, Bernie said he's going to vote yes, but he's getting extra aid and the Palestinians really need it. Yeah. What fucking form are they getting this fucking aid? Where? How? When? Why? Give us fucking some solid fucking answers.
There's
no specifics. But you don't need specifics with these fucking shit libs to follow you, fam.
You're just going to take him on his word?
You fucking put a bumper sticker on there, and then they fucking buy it.
They fucking buy it. Okay, so Jewish Currents said Senator Sanders pushes a Gaza aid in exchange for yes vote on Iron Dome funds. The Senate's most prominent Israel Israel critic, will join the rest of the Democratic caucus in voting for aid for the anti-missile system. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it, so you guys know, because they pretty much outline what he says. He said a goal here is to make clear that it's no longer acceptable to keep sending billions in military aid to Israel without any debate and without any acknowledgement of the violence endured by Palestinians living under occupation and blockade. This is from Matt Duss, who is Sanders' foreign policy advisor, not a great foreign policy advisor, by the way. The move returns Sanders to a familiar role, that of the U.S. Senate's foremost advocate for increased aid for Gaza to address the territory's Israeli-imposed economic and humanitarian crisis, but it also serves as a reminder of the Palestinian rights movement's weak foothold in the Senate. Palestinian rights advocates have spent the past few weeks pushing progressives to vote no on Iron Dome funding, arguing that additional military aid fuels Israel's ability to carry out its policies of occupation and apartheid without facing accountability. Sanders, however, is not following their lead. In fact, it's unlikely any senator will vote no on the funding. No single senator is going to vote no on the Iron Dome. And in his letter to Schumer, Sanders portrayed his request for a $1 billion assistance for Gaza as a necessary counterweight to the U.S.'s overwhelming military support for Israel. And he said, if the goal of this supplemental funding is to help Israel replenish Iron Dome after the war that took place in May, it would be irresponsible if we do not at the same time address the enormous destruction and suffering that the war caused the Palestinians in Gaza.
The war.
He wrote.
The war.
Exactly. Just as we stand with the Israeli people's right to live in peace and security, we must do so for the Palestinian people as well. So you're not just standing for the Israeli people's right to live with peace and security. You're completely ignoring the fact that Israel's in occupation and they're putting Palestinians out of their houses. They're killing them in an open air prison. We should say things as they are, not as you would like them to be. Sanders' move is the latest development in the tumultuous debate over funding for Iron Dome, which the House of Representatives approved on September 23rd in a 420-9 vote. Let's remind you how awful that vote is, right? Only 9. The congressional debate pitted progressive legislators who questioned why the U.S. should provide another $1 billion for Iron Dome when the anti-missile system already received $73 million earlier this year, against Democratic Party leadership, who argued that the funding is critical to Israel's security. So the House bill on the Iron Dome is slated to vote soon. So they're going to vote on that House bill again, though it's unclear exactly when it will go to the Senate floor. Democratic leadership initially planned to fast track the bill via unanimous consent. This is what we talked about a couple weeks ago. But that plan was foiled by none other than Senator Rand Paul, who proposed an amendment that would fund the Iron Dome by redirecting aid earmarked for reconstruction efforts in Afghanistan. Asked by the news outlet Jewish Insider about plans for the Iron Dome vote on Tuesday, Schumer said, "Talk to Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell. We have complete support on our side to pass by unanimous consent." They're literally Rand Paul, the fucking conservative libertarian, was the one who managed to get a vote on this bill without fast tracking it. When AOC was blaming it, oh, it's fast tracked, I can't do anything, and she was crying. Rand Paul is to her left when it comes to Israel-Palestine, which is fucking ludicrous. He's to the left of Bernie Sanders.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
Fucking
ridiculous.
Sana Sadiq, the manager of policy and advocacy campaign for the U.S. Campaign for Palestinian Rights, said, "The exchange of Iron Dome funding for urgent humanitarian aid is not an acceptable trade to make. We need to move towards ending weapons sales rather than sending them through without debate. Palestinians have asked Senator Sanders to divest from harm, and that means not sending further military funding to Israel, which they use to bomb Palestinians." Advocates also argue that funding of the type of Sanders has secured is insufficient to address the root causes of Gaza's devastation. Aid alone cannot help the people on the ground, said Jihad Absalim, a Palestinian from Gaza who is an education and policy associate of the Palestinian Activism Program at the American Friends Service Committee. Palestinians have been receiving aid for decades. What Palestinians need is to address the structural oppression and injustice that they experience because of decades of occupation and oppression by the state of Israel. And at the Biden administration has sent $75 million to Palestinians so far this year and pledged $150 million to fund the UNRWA, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Yeah, okay, that's going to help the Palestinians. According to Sanders' office, Schumer committed to sending additional relief to Gaza. Schumer said in a statement to Jewish Currents that he looked forward to working with the Senator Sanders, other colleagues, and the administration to get needed humanitarian assistance consistent with existing statutory requirements to the Palestinian people. Though Sanders' letter proposes, this is the most important part, that the U.S. send the same amount, $1 billion, for Israel's anti-missile system and Gaza's rebuilding efforts, it's unclear what the total increase in aid to Gaza will be. So Sanders is getting no specifics. He's proposing that Schumer send $1 billion in aid to Gaza. Do you really think that these fucking Zionist Democrats are going to send $1 billion in aid to Gaza when they're giving billions in aid to Israel? Let's be serious here, right? That's not going to happen.
It's a fucking joke. This is a fucking joke. Like, stop. And here's the thing. I don't even understand how we can't, like, okay, I don't give a shit what side you stand on. First of all, we're not anti-Semitic. We're anti-Zionist. Let's lay that out there right now, okay? Yeah. That's what we're against. We're against the occupation. We're against not the war. This is one-sided over here. This is not a war. This is one side using stones and the other side getting bombed by fucking new technology and new missiles. So forget about it. Ridiculous. Why in the world do we, despite our feelings about what side is right or what's wrong, why do we have to fucking pay for it? I mean, where's the fiscal side on that? Why can't anybody get behind this fiscally and go, okay, listen, enough is enough. We got people here. We're giving, and I said this before, we're giving $1 billion now for a missile system, for a defense system, as they're going on the offense. And we got people dying and suffering on the streets here. You know what I'm saying? Israel has Medicare for all. They have free education. We don't have any of that stuff, and we're cracking them off money
to kill other people. Right?
This is a fucking joke, and it's not getting any better. We're not getting any movement. We're going backwards, ladies and gentlemen. We're going backwards, and in enters Donald Trump, who now becomes one of the most pro-Israel presidents of all time, the state of Israel, the Zionists, once again. And now you got a bunch of people on the right, patriots, who are like, no, we got to stand up for Israel and stuff like that. Bullshit. Yeah, that's how you know their team sports mentality is what this is all about. They agree when it comes to war and economics and keeping people down. That's that type of mentality where the neoliberals and the neocons come together. And I just wanted to point out a couple tweets. This is from Demand the Meal, Palestinian activist. I literally don't even know what to say. God fucking damn it. Bernie Sanders, this is probably the most heartbreaking thing you've done. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. And this other one was said by People versus Corrupt. Senator Sanders, fuck you. So a lot of people coming after Bernie Sanders, as they should be. They're changing the lock too, fam.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy, by the way, people overlooked the fact that he was for, a two-state solution, the fact that he wasn't as strong as he could have been. Palestinians supported Bernie Sanders because he was the most left when it came to Israel-Palestine. Look what he's doing now, guys.
And Bernie Sanders
none
was not supportive of reparations. Just want to say that. Giving money to fucking Israel, but can't give money to the people who built this country. Just want to fucking point that out there, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's a trap question. No, it's not. It's not.
Should have answered it better.
We give money to every fucking country out there. We give money and reparations to everybody except the fucking people who built this fucking country. It's not a trap question. Enough is enough. Why do we give money to everybody, but we can't take care of people in our own goddamn country?
It's insanity, fams.